So now you're ready for some answers. I wonder if you picked steel. In my custom presentations and in my book, audiences learn some real truths they can add to their worldview before trying to move on to reconciliation. Truth. Why is it so hard to find when it comes to our own home hemisphere and the indigenous accomplishments in the Western Hemisphere prior to 1492? Successful brain surgery was first practiced near Veracruz over 3,000 years ago. Now, their 50% success rate matches Western medicine's 50% success rate at the beginning of the 20th century. Peruvian brain surgery had an 85% rate at the time of Columbus. The practice was also widespread in the United States and Canada as well. Women's rights and the early suffragette movement can be traced directly to the influence of matrilineal societies of the northern Indians, along with their social and political structures. The role of women as equals is in contrast to Europeans, where women in the 1980s could still be found with no voting rights. 75% of our world's foods today are gifts from this hemisphere, developed on Indian farms over thousands and thousands of years. Now, what a magnificent contribution to today's civilization. Of course, it goes unrecognized. It's especially extraordinary because the Western Hemisphere is only 30% of the world's landmass. The first metallurgists in the world came from around the Great Lakes. Now, these early metal workers produced copper fish hooks, knives, axes, tools, and drill bits. Their goods, because they were sought after in trading, have been found as far as the Pacific coast in North America. A democracy, in its genuine form, means everyone has a voice in the government, including non-existence of slavery. The Iroquois Confederacy have had exactly that for 875 years. Europe was 100% dictatorships in 1492. Aren't we taught the Greeks invented democracy? Well, not only were half their citizens slaves, but the women were owned as property and they had no say, along with the young and old. Well, one thing is clear. The inventions and accomplishments of these indigenous is invisible in today's world for many, many reasons. Maybe it's time for you to find out more. Maybe it's time for you to take a second look at that world-class education we all receive. If you picked steel and only steel, you got the quiz correct. Everything else on that list was first developed by our Western Hemisphere hosts, typically introduced to Europeans for the first time and certainly given to Europeans. I'm Dave Patterson, the 1492 guy. Check out my material and my book and my speaker offerings. You see that big red button? You can also check out more amazing, fascinating truths by getting the longer list of 141 Indian accomplishments. And when you do that, remember there's many more. Well, I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. Spread the word.